All right, welcome everybody to today's podcast. We have a great guest today. Today we're going to be talking with Ed Rodriguez, who is a police officer and a real estate agent, and just all around a good guy. He's also managed to lose 60 pounds. He has a lot of really good wisdom for us, and we're going to dive into his story. Ed, is there anything else you'd like to say about yourself before we get going?
No, I'm excited to do this, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I had a brief chance to talk with Ed right before this, and like we said, he has lost 60 pounds, and it sounds like he had been kind of a bigger guy most of his life before he did that. So, can you bring us back to like the very start of your journey? You said you were around 320, so explain kind of how you got there, how you were feeling, and what motivated you to start taking control of your health.
So honestly, it all started back when I was just a little kid. Um, Without going into too much of that detail, there was just a lot of issues that I had with being on my own, being bullied, that kind of typical stuff that you hear a lot of. I became a what's it called, binge eater. I had binge eating disorder. That's how I just kind of hid away from it. The older I got, the worse it got. Once I was able to work and had my own freedom to move around, I really got sucked into the fast food world. It was whenever I was stressed, whenever I was bored, whenever I had a chance to put something in my mouth, that's just what I did. I just ate and ate and ate. And as soon as I got older and older through the years, it just got worse and worse to the point where I wasn't paying attention. I was like, I'm 200 pounds, can't be that bad. Fast forward 2 years, that's only 245. It can't be that much worse. I'll start dropping weight. And unfortunately, got all the way up to 320 pounds before that was my breaking point. And I had tried throughout the years multiple times because I had a doctor that consistently told me, he's like, hey, you're going to die. You're going to die soon. You're going to die soon. And I just
That's
kept going, and
motivating.
kept going. Yeah.
Not the
And
best
so,
bedside manner.
yeah. So it really hit me at 320 when I could barely breathe walking upstairs. I was struggling to put on 3X clothing. I couldn't find clothes locally. Like everything hurt. It hurt to walk. My knees were always swollen. I had just so many health issues. And the other reason I continue to gain weight is the fact that I had tried to do weight loss stuff. I had dietitians, I had nutritionists, I had my doctor reach out to certain people. I just kept getting told is you're eating too much, you're just being fat. You need to learn to count your calories, drop the weight, it'll work. And I did. I tried a dietitian for 6 months straight. I was told in the morning I could have 3 cups of food. At lunch, I could have 2 cups of food. And then by dinner time, which was about five, I could only have half a cup. Did that for 6 months. He's like, you were guaranteed to lose weight. I stuck to that religiously as hard as it was for me to binge eat and have that disorder. Couldn't lose weight. And I got told, I got yelled at, I got frustrated with. They're like, you're lying, you're not staying consistent, you're eating when you're not supposed to. And I was really struggling with it. The doctors wouldn't help me with anything else. And so
That's really
one
hard because then
day,
there's the shame and all of that kind of wrapped in around it. And when you feel like you're doing the best you can, that's the worst is when people are just hammering on you.
yeah, and so it just added to the anxiety, it added to the stress. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't figure it out. And I finally had a coworker, she was a female, that had reached out to me and she goes, hey, listen, I'm getting older. I was starting to gain a lot of weight post menopause. I'm struggling with it too. I went to a specialist, had blood work done, and I found out I had zero testosterone in my system. She's like, I don't know if that's the case for you. You're a lot younger than I am. She was like, maybe go see if there's a something going on with your blood that's not letting you drop the weight. There are diseases that cause you to not be able to lose weight as easy as it should be. And so I had found a specialist in my area. Um, we went and got a bunch of blood work done, and the biggest thing that was said was your testosterone should be anywhere between the lowest 500 for your age anywhere between 800 to 1200 should be natural level of testosterone. My blood work came back, I was about a 90, 92, if I remember right.
Very low
So
then.
just zero energy. I couldn't build up muscle. I couldn't get through the day without having to take naps, without feeling like I had to eat something, which was the opposite of what I was told to do is don't eat. But then I felt like I couldn't stay awake during the day.
Right.
And we started with that. We got on testosterone. There's a few other things in my blood that I can't remember what was off. It was a hormonal imbalance. And so now I take testosterone replacement therapy. I'm on it daily. I'm sitting between 500 to 800, depending on if I miss a day or two here and there. That was not a magic pill that made me start losing weight. That was just something that got me back to feeling like I should at 29.
Yeah, that's actually a perfect segue to what I want to talk to because I know when people have a hormone disorder, it's hard to lose weight or get progress if you just feel terrible, right? If your body's not functioning how it makes something that's hard almost impossible. But just like you said, it's not going to be a magic pill that just instantly makes you drop weight. So once you got the testosterone and you felt better, what behaviors did you change or dietary things did you try that you finally ended up being successful and started to see the scale move down?
So, on top of the disorder, which I still to this day refuse to acknowledge that I have, I reached out to another friend of mine. He does MMA fighting. He has a specialist for his food, and he was like, "Dude, you need to try out meal prep. It's not cheap, but at this point, he's like, if you're this serious about your health, you need to get in contact with somebody that's not from your doctor because your doctor's stupid. I mean, he's being blunt, but he's like, you've tried all of their specialists, you've tried everything that they've told you. He refused to let you look into any kind of blood work. He's like, try out this guy." So I hired his nutritionist who happened to be a bodybuilder and he took care of him as a fighter. And I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, I struggle with this disorder. I if I get restricted to one meal a day, 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, there's a high possibility if I get under a lot of stress, I'll just start hammering whatever I can find." So this guy had modified my meal plan for like 5 or 6 meals a day, but had broken down the macros and all that stuff. And I don't understand that stuff very well, so I don't have a lot to say on that. But it got to the point where I almost started getting sick of eating because
Yeah,
there was so much food that, and it was small portions, but it was the first little bit was a struggle because I always felt hungry and I was dying for the next one, or so your mind thinks.
yeah,
And once I got in the habit of eating it, I started dropping the weight. I started noticing a slow. It took me 15 months to drop down 60 pounds. So
which is still pretty great.
yeah, definitely wasn't like anything within a month or two. This took a long time. This took a lot of back and forth, a lot of struggles. I had a lot of plateaus. So between 320 to about 300 pounds took me the longest. Um, Getting back into the gym, my friend helped me out a ton because a lot of people go to the gym, they'll just start randomly running on a treadmill, which is what I did for years, and you were scared to go weightlift. With his help, I did the complete opposite. I walked in, I started strength training with the testosterone flowing. I was bulking up really fast. Muscle was
Feeling
just
good.
building up. Yeah, I was just building muscle like crazy, which, and then it made me feel better. I started to build up the confidence in myself. I started noticing changes and it started to help me. So whenever I was stressed, rather than going straight for food, I started going to the gym
Hmm.
because I knew after a while I'd be burned out. I wouldn't feel that way anymore. So when I got about to 300 pounds, I got stuck for a little while. I couldn't drop it. I couldn't drop it, regardless of all the changes that I was doing. My hormonal doctor, like a lot of people now, are taking Ozempic and all that other stuff. He was like, "I'm going to put you on a very, very minor dosage." He's like, "Because your blood's all over the place. You have um, pretty close to type 2 diabetes. You have a bunch of other blood issues that you have going on. He's like, this is not only going to help you bring that down, but it's also should help to drop weight and fix that plateau. And
Right.
so I started taking, I think it was a minimum dosage. I think it's like 0.25 milliliters, so just a drop. And I did that for 2 months. And that brought me down from about 300 to 285 ish.
Okay.
And then from there, I didn't need it anymore. I got off of it. It gave me a little bit of a kickstart with the modification in the diet plan that I was eating with this guy. The amped up amount of workouts that I was doing with the testosterone, um, it just took forever. Like I was taking months to drop maybe 2 or 3 pounds, but I kept the consistency. I kept up with the diet. And now I'm sitting between 260 and 270. I haven't figured out how to break that plateau, but I don't want to get back on medication to help me drop it. I'm still trying to keep up the natural way of doing it. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I just don't
I
want to
think I
use,
understand what you're trying to say, though. Just
yeah,
trying to
like,
turn inward. You brought up a couple really great points I want to talk about. One thing that you brought up a couple times was hitting a wall. This is something that everybody does during weight loss. A lot of times you're going to hit a sticking point. You're going to hit a settling point. On you've already kind of broken down the actions of how you got through it. How do you handle being at a wall psychologically? Because I know that can be tricky where you feel like you're doing everything right and it's not getting you the result that you want. What did you found was the best way to handle it psychologically and make sure you didn't get discouraged and keep trying?
um, to be honest with you, it's still something that I struggle with. I found myself trying to go back to the old habits that I had. I was like, this is stupid. I'm just going back to what I've been doing. I'll just start eating again. And then I would catch myself. Um, for me, I like to read. Running my business as an agent, it's also another level of stress that most people don't realize until you run your own business. And so, one of the other things that helped me keep myself grounded is to read and research. So, whenever I'm frustrated, whenever it comes to my real estate stuff and I don't understand something, I will research like crazy until I understand what it is that I'm missing. When it comes to the weight loss and where I'm at uh, in the fitness industry, I have slowed down, taken breaths, and research what these walls are, how to go through them, what dietary changes could be, whether that's dropping calories, whether that's increasing something. I've heard the reverse dieting, all these other crazy things. And so that's one of the biggest things is finding support and also another specialist to help you out go through that. Because just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that they aren't able to help switch up your diet or something else to help you go through it.
Right. And just have that knowledge. And so it
Yeah.
seems kind of knowledge is power. It's the thing you're reaching for. It's just
Yeah.
when you hit a wall, instead of trying to get frustrated, just realizing you're missing a piece
Yeah.
and moving forward with that. So that's great. So the next question that I kind of want to dive into is now that you're kind of at like another wall that you were saying you're having a hard time dealing with. Sometimes people also will get some weight regain, right? It's very normal. You know, you drop 20, 30 pounds and you gain back 10.
Right.
Have you experienced that before?
No, the most I've ever climbed back up to is 270.
Okay.
And so, yeah, between 260 and
So you're
270
doing
with
pretty good. Okay.
teetering.
So we won't work talk too much about like any regain then. Um, what about some of the benefits that you felt so far? Like I'm sure after losing 60 pounds, you feel much better. Has the transformation given you what you wanted so far?
Oh, yeah. Like I look amazing in my clothes now. I've dropped down to, went from a 3XL shirt to I'm inside of extra large clothes. Pant sizes dropped from a size 42 to 38. And so it's made a huge difference in self confidence is the biggest thing. It's just the way I feel too. I'm able to get up. I'm able to play with my kids. I'm able to do my job when somebody takes off running on me from the law enforcement side. I'm not winded or having to utilize tools that end up being on the news and flying all over TikTok for abuse, So I'm able to chase, I'm able to run, I'm able to do all these other things that make it so not only am I confident in myself, but also I know that I can stand my ground and protect my coworkers too when need be, so we can all make it home safe.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you've learned a lot. You're still on your journey. I think everyone's always trying to progress and get to the next step. It's not like you ever really arrive with health. You're always trying to do better. Um, Now that you've gone through what you went through, I mean, you've lost 60 pounds, you've gotten much healthier, taking control of your life. What what piece of advice would you give somebody who is just about to start?
My biggest piece of advice is do not be ashamed if you have to use drugs. I hate that people have been shamed so aggressively. There's another friend and fitness influencer of mine that has hounded people for using the Ozempic, semaglutide stuff, and I don't think that's correct because don't be ashamed to use it as the biggest thing. There's other things. There's gastric bypass surgery that people do. It's not cheating. Don't ever let yourself think that it's cheating. It's a tool to utilize to help.
Right,
That's one of my biggest things. Is just because you're hundreds of Instagram influencers are telling you that you just need to control your macros, you need to control your diet. That's not always the case. I didn't have any testosterone in my system. I had other hormonal imbalances. And it was through this hormonal doctor that I got that medicine. I utilized a very small portion of it for a small time. That doesn't mean I cheated my way down to the weight loss. That's
right.
just a tool to use. That's my biggest thing for anybody that is questioning wanting to do it is if it's going to help you live longer, sure.
Yeah. And just utilize the resources that
Yeah.
you have available. So then, along with this, going just off of your wisdom, usually we all make some mistakes as we're going through life. What do you think was your biggest mistake in your journey so far? That if you could restart it, you would look back and say, okay, I'm going to avoid that this time.
Um, the biggest thing that I would look back at is it would be that fear of what are people going to think if I'm not doing exactly what everybody else is supposed to. What there was times where I'd catch myself hiding and eating fast food because I was ashamed because people had me on this pedestal because I'm on a weight loss journey. I can't be seen drinking soda. I can't be seen having a burger here and there. And so that's one of the biggest things that I would go back on and be like, you know what? It does not matter to have something like that here and there. It's not going to hurt you. Don't listen to what other people have to say. Find a support team. I should have done that a lot sooner. Is find support.
That's great. Yeah, I think you touched on something really important there, which is like don't switch one vice for another. You know, I think sometimes people switch the overeating for, basically a different eating disorder and they have shame and they're
Yeah.
dealing with all that and just do it for you and avoid the shame of, what everyone else is going to think. So that was great. Man, thank you so much for your time, brother. This was great, very enlightening. I learned a ton from you, and I'm really happy to see that you're taking control of your life, and I wish you the best in your endeavors. And I don't know what your end goal is, but whatever that is, I hope you get down to it and that you feel better and you're able to be a great cop and real estate agent and father. And so that's pretty much all we had for today. Unless if you have anything else, we'll kind of end it there.
No, no, I appreciate it. Real quick, if any of you watching this video, whether it be in a week, a year, 10 years from now, if you need somebody to talk to, you have disorders, I'm still denying that I do. I know I have them. I struggle with them every day. Find support. You call me. Doesn't matter if it's for real estate, for law enforcement, for help, call me. I'm always available. I'm not hard to find.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. I hope you have a great day and thanks for coming on.
You too. Thanks, I go see it.
Okay, bye.